The way we consume and share news today, it is largely rooted in social media outlets, a reason why it's crucial for us to look at what's being discussed online from the hottest issues to trends for our daily social media minute. We're joined by Erica all the way from Busan. Good morning.
Good morning.
I can almost see the beach
And the bridge.
and the beautiful bridge. Thanks for joining us despite your short
Of course. Of
vacation.
course. No, of course.
All right, let's jump into our first buzzword of the day. So there is a music event, a concert that is scheduled I believe, in the coming weeks, and it is designed to revive and also pay respects to the Itaewon tragedy, and it's taking place in, of course, that very neighborhood.
That's right. So top musicians are coming together this weekend,
Oh,
Saturday and Sunday, to spread the message of hope and to revive the Itaewon area with a music festival. 99 musicians are going to take part in this event, including big names such as Inalchi and Ungsan Band, and they will be performing as part of the Let There Be Love Itaewon Festival at 13 different venues in the area that include concert halls, lounges, pubs, and clubs.
so in the aftermath of the Halloween crowd crush tragedy last year, many concerts, music festivals, fashion shows, all foreseeable events were canceled out of respect. And at the time, it was thought to be the right thing to do, to maybe have months, weeks of silence. In fact, 159 lost their lives in that evening, as well as their family members that had to, of course, mourn the losses of these young people. Others also spoke out about how music could also be a way to cope with grief, because I remember some musicians tried to make a comeback in the months of November and December, and their message was actually quite similar. They want to honor the deceased.
That's right. And music, as we all know from experience, can be quite healing
Right.
in times of difficulty and hardship. So the organizers of this music campaign, Let There Be Love Itaewon, actually came together just for this, that they refer to themselves as Team Itaewon. And they thought the same. They thought that music can heal people.
Mm.
And they thought that musicians could definitely play a positive role in showing support and to give hope without stopping the music.
Mm. I think it's all too easy for us to jump to conclusion, especially the divisive nature of just social media postings, one or the other, or there's only one way to grieve, and that's just not the truth. Everyone grieves differently, and like you said,
That's right.
music has a way of connecting and helping us heal. Now, this campaign itself, it's titled Let There Be Love Itaewon. It was apparently inspired by a certain other charity concert that took place a few years back.
That's right. This particular concert was inspired by a charity concert, well, a very specific one called One Love Manchester that took place
Mm.
back in 2017 in the aftermath of the Manchester Arena bombing. And the benefit concert was organized by singer Ariana Grande and other musicians, of course, in response to the terrorist bombing that happened right after Grande held a concert at the same venue. Now, like I mentioned before, Team Itaewon is a small group of organizers. There's 7 of them in
Yeah.
total that came together for the event, but many more people have actually come forward to build a community around music, and they include members of the music community, musicians, Itaewon residents, store owners, and many, many others who care about Itaewon and simply want to show support, in this very difficult time. Now, owners of 13 venues in Itaewon have offered to open up their spaces free of charge. All proceeds from this music festival will be donated to a charity or to the victims of the Itaewon crowd disaster.
I mean, the event seems to serve several different purposes. As you've said, music has a power to bring people together, to heal, to honor the victims of the Itaewon tragedy first and foremost. But Itaewon really hasn't been able to catch a break since that deadly incident, and it is mostly unfair to say that, these store owners and operators, they had it really tough. And this was in
Yeah,
the aftermath of the pandemic. They had to minimize it during the 3 years. So they just want a chance to come back. This might
yeah,
be it. Now, of course, given the nature of the event and since the tragedy, South Korea has been clearly trying to make efforts to put safety first, and this event is no different.
Correct. Safety will be at the heart of the event, of course. Over 120 volunteers have signed up so far to make sure that everything goes smoothly and safely. And the organizers are still recruiting more volunteers for the event. I think they're recruiting more people until the end of today, actually. Now, for those of you who are curious about the festival, if you live here in Korea, in Seoul, and you want to check out the festival, it's going to take place from 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. on Saturday and Sunday. And there is a free zone
Mm.
and something called a ticket zone. So the free zone, self-explanatory, will be open to those who have not purchased a ticket, while ticket holders can enter both areas.
Mm.
And tickets per day cost 39,000 won, roughly $32. And if you want to check out the details, the full lineup for the two-day festival, you can visit Team Itaewon's official Instagram account.
Okay, so that's happening this weekend, as you've
Yep.
said. So check it out. You can figure it out on Team Itaewon's official Instagram. On to our second story of the day. There are clearly a lot of exhibits to check out, mask-free.
That's right.
Let's take our listeners to the Amore Pacific Museum of Art in the heart of Seoul.
Yes. So, pyeongpung is the Korean word for the decorative folding screens that once, embellished the interiors, homes, the royal palaces, and households during the Joseon Kingdom. And now they're being brought to the spotlight at an exhibition hosted by the Amore Pacific Museum of Art in Seoul's Yongsan-gu district. The exhibition is titled Beyond Folding Screens 2, and it comes 5 years after the museum's initial showcase of centuries-old relics. It's a retrospective of 51 rare screens that were produced between the late Joseon period and the early modern era.
The beauty is always in the details, but even if you don't understand, I mean, they're just aesthetically so pleasing. And that was
Yeah.
designed to do exactly that, which is why it translates after all this time. I am not an expert on folding screens. I've maybe not seen enough folding screens to talk about it, but
Mm.
I've seen enough period productions where it's clearly evident they placed it in the rear end of the room.
That's right. The term pyeongpung, in fact, was used back in the days to refer to an object that has no major presence or impact. So it's not the major feature
Mm.
of a room or a space. But this exhibition aims to do the opposite. It wants to shed light on the artistic value and the cultural significance of folding screens as a visual medium. So to give you some examples, let's take the 19th century piece called The Sun, Moon, and Sacred Peaches. It's a panoramic folding screen that depicts a peach tree against the backdrop of the sun, the moon, and crashing waves. It's a really famous one, so I'm sure many, many people have seen it. The sacred symbols of nature featured in this panoramic vista suggest that the folding screen was used in the royal court to
Yeah.
convey the wish for a long and peaceful reign
Mm.
of a king.
It's funny how words evolve because I've used pyeongpung in everyday sentences quite
Yeah,
frequently to point out to someone or maybe myself when I feel like I don't have a presence in a room full of strangers.
like a wallflower maybe.
Yeah, a little bit like a wallflower, and that's how I use pyeongpung. And so it's funny to think that this beautiful piece originally was designed to really not have a specific purpose. It
Right.
wasn't supposed to protrude in a room to have such an
Mm.
impact. What other features should visitors take note of at this exhibition?
Yeah, so another highlight of the show includes this eight-panel silk folding screen. It's titled Pyeongyangsong Fortress, and this piece was produced in the late 18th century, and the relic is designated as a treasure by the government, and it portrays in a really detailed bird's eye view of the prospering city of Pyongyang, yes, the capital of present-day North Korea, and it's shown as the cultural, military, and diplomatic hub. Various Animals is another piece. It's a 19th century paper screen that features some really intriguing subjects. 86 pairs of realistically rendered creatures that sprawl across its 10 panels. It's almost as if you're taking a look at a page from an animal encyclopedia. So it features animals like monkeys, lions, and elephants, which were considered to be really exotic back in the day. And it also features mythical creatures like Hete and Ponghwang. Hete is a creature that resembles a lion, but it has horns, and Ponghwang is a Korean phoenix.
It's fascinating because way back when we didn't have, I don't know, the internet, how do they draw these pictures of monkeys, lions, and
I
elephants?
know,
And
right?
it's fascinating.
Yeah,
So Beyond Folding Screens 2 is the exhibition you should look out for. It runs
yeah,
until April 30th.
that's right.
All right, our last
Yeah.
story of the day. I really want to get to this because I'm hearing about him for the first time, but clearly I've missed my cue to notice him because he's doing some great deeds. YouTube
Yeah.
star Mr. Beast.
Yes, he's helping 1,000 people see a little more clearly. Jimmy Donaldson is his name, but he's known to his followers simply as Mr. Beast. Recently shared a video on his YouTube channel revealing that he helped 1,000 blind or near blind people see. And he did so by paying for their cataract removal surgeries. And this video was released on Saturday, just a few days ago, and it has so far amassed more than 65 million views as of this morning when I checked. Now, Mr. Beast, he has 130 million subscribers
Oh.
as of January 2023. It's the fourth most subscribed on the platform and the highest as a non-corporate identity. And he's sort of credited with pioneering this genre of YouTube videos that centers on expensive stunts. And we briefly talked about him on Social Media Minute. He created that Squid Game show on his own YouTube channel.
Oh.
Remember, he built the whole set, everything. He invited people to come take play, participate in playing the games. Yeah, we talked about him briefly
Yeah.
last year sometime.
Now I remember Mr. Beast. I,
Yeah.
I guess I was just floored by the idea. And so he does these grand gestures, clearly really expensive projects for his YouTube followers, and that's where he thrives. But clearly this is a prime example of using all his influence and resources to do something kind of amazing and give back. Something of this scale, it seems, needs meticulous planning, collaboration with experts in the field. From what I understand, Mr. Beast doesn't have a background in medicine. How did this all happen?
So he worked with Dr. Jeff Levinson, who is an ophthalmologist and surgeon based in Florida. And his Gift of Sight program offers free cataract surgery to people who are legally blind and uninsured. So according to the doctor, more than half of the blindness in the world is caused by cataracts. A 10-minute surgery at a material cost of less than $100 cures it forever. So anyways, he was shocked by the idea that there are hundreds of millions, probably 200 million people all around the world who are blind or nearly blind from cataracts and who don't have access to surgery. Now, when Donaldson, Mr. Beast, called the doctor to chat about this project, the doctor almost hung up the phone because, Donaldson, he was super excited. He described wanting to do 1,000 cataract surgeries on blind people all around the world in the span of 3 weeks. And the doctor had never heard of Mr. Beast, and the whole idea just sounded plain crazy to him. The doctor described Mr. Beast as sounding like a 12-year-old kid, and he almost hung up the phone.
He just sounds charged with
Yeah.
hope and unrealistic. So how did they go forward with it? I mean, I'm sure Mr. Beast, persevered. And how did they go about finding the patients?
You know what? They called homeless shelters. That's where they started. They called free clinics in Florida. They grew the list to 40, which the doctor did the first round of procedures in the course of one day, starting at 7 a.m., ending at 6 p.m. And they just simply kept going, and he filmed, these people gaining their vision back in countries like Mexico, Honduras, Indonesia, Brazil, et cetera, et cetera. And, in the video, the patients are seen crying because they're able to clearly see after months or even years of, blurred vision.
I think it's a perfect moment to celebrate Mr. Beast and social media and streaming sites being used for
Yeah.
good. It can be, and this is a brilliant example.
I agree.
Thank you very much, Erica. Have a safe stay, and I'll see you soon.
See you tomorrow.
If you're listening to our program using the podcast service, just a reminder that we do go live Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. Korea Standard Time. So tune in and help us make the show more informative by giving us your input. See you bright and early on Good Morning Seoul.